Okay, welcome everybody. Um, there's a lot to cover, and I'm really sorry it's a little information overload, but I've got it on the PowerPoints, and I'll email you the PowerPoint so that you have it to refer to. There are so many parts to youth service that I wanted to just make sure I could capture information on the PowerPoint. And I may have missed something, so you can always go to the Rotary International website to find out more about the youth service programs. Okay, so the Rotary has a plan for the next 5 years, and it's increasing our impact, being problem solvers, expanding our reach, inspiring people, enhancing participation, so that's understanding the needs of others, and then increasing our ability to adapt. So when you look at these these items that are on the plan, we're doing a lot of them already. So it's just a matter of continuing and expanding what we need to do. So for youth service, we could apply it to youth service, of course, but youth service was known before as new generations. And sometimes you'll hear still people calling it new generations or forms saying new generations, but it's the same thing. So youth service is these main programs. So we have Interact for age 18 to 30. I'm sorry, Rotaract 18 to 30. Interact 12 to 18. The RILA Youth Leadership Awards program, which that's why Jeff is here. Jeff has a great program on the North Shore, and then we have the exchange program.
We had our first meeting on Saturday.
Yeah, and there's a lot of planning to go into the RILA program, and you can do follow-ups after that. We invited the RILA students to the district conference, and I think that was great to see them again and for them to get together again. Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way, all of these people who participate in these programs are official Rotary alumni. So you can let them know that they're alumni, and there is an alumni club. So hopefully we can get the graduates to come together and have a reunion. So let's start with Rotaract. Rotaract is Rotary plus Action. That's how they got that word, Rotaract. Did you know that?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so it was organized by Rotary clubs to promote leadership, professional development for ages 18 to 30. And the colleges, you get out of the college and you're only, 22, 21? So that's why the community Rotaracts are really great, because you can go up to age 30 with the community Rotaracts. So the first Rotaract club was started in 1968, but actually in the 50s there were some clubs and they were called Rotors. Then they changed it to Rotaract. Yeah. Oh, but then we would have had a link on that name, right? Okay, so right now there's 250,000 Rotaractors in 10,000, 11,000 clubs around the world in 184 countries. So they can be college-based or community-based, or they can be both, like the HPU. So we have Matt Wong on the line, and he's connected with the Hawaii Pacific University Community Rotaract, and he's getting the alumni club to help the students, and that's a great partnership to have the alumni mentor the students, or just give their insight about their careers or life in general. But Rotaractors can join Rotary clubs right now, so they can have dual membership. Unlike Rotarians, we cannot have dual membership. So,
Naomi?
Yes?
Yeah, this is Jeff again. Hey, just to let those folks know that we're going to try to get Rotaract involved with the RILA this year.
Good. And well, you have a lot of interactors go. So hopefully the interactors that you got are turning into Rotaractors and continuing their Rotary experience. Okay? So we need all of the Interact and Rotaract clubs to update their information by June 30. So if you can help them get onto the websites and get updated. So for Rotaract, we'll need the name and contact of the president and the advisor of both. and they can, once they log into the Rotary International website, they can update their own profile and get to their club data. Okay, so the way that they do it is to go to Rotary.org. Okay, so here's some tips for Rotaract. They're encouraged to do sustainable service projects, and so there is a handbook that they can refer to. There's the 6 steps to sustainability. So they talk about doing projects and looking for projects and putting them on the Rotary International Rotary Ideas or Showcase websites, and different ideas that they can come up with to continue the causes of Rotary and to think about sustainability, because this is their future for the world, and we need to sustain that world for them. They have webinars that they can learn different things on the Learning Center, and then there's a lot of kits and resources available. There's a Rotaract Week in March. And if they participate in Rotaract Week, they can get a certificate that the sponsoring Rotary Club can issue for them and make a big ceremony of it. And then there's the Outstanding Project Award, which they can apply and get nominated. So for World Rotaract Week, it's in March, the 9th through the 15th, 2020. And this is when they're encouraged to partner with their sponsor Rotary Club and do a service project or do an activity, do a social event, a fellowship, something that they can plan to get together and just feel the fellowship with all of Rotary. Okay, so if they log into the website and put their email address into the Rotary International website, they can get some information on what's happening and what they can, suggestions for what they can do on service projects. So here's some suggestions for Rotaract Week. They can celebrate with service, develop leaders, do joint projects. They can do friendships, fellowships, have some fun, have a networking night. Maybe they can partner with the Rotary Means Business Fellowship and have a joint fellowship night. And then they can come to the Rotary Convention in June. So Rotaract has a host organization committee themselves, and they plan their own activities, and they have pre-convention, breakout sessions, general sessions on their own before the main convention starts. So if they can register early, they get a really good price on registering and go to the whole convention. Here's that certificate of recognition I told you about. So when they participate in the Rotaract Week, the sponsoring Rotary Club can pull this certificate from the Rotary International website, fill it out, have it signed, and make a big deal about what they did and celebrate their successes and give this certificate. Okay. Then there's this Outstanding Project Award. So that one is due February 1st, 2020, and it's to recognize significant projects that were focused on humanitarian service. So if anyone has a project that they want to nominate, you can do it online, and it has to be submitted by February 1st, 2020. Oh, and if they're picked as a winner, they're going to be announced at the Rotaract pre-convention at the Rotary Convention in June. Okay, questions about Rotaract before we go into Interact? So, okay. Interact is international plus action put together. Okay. Yay. So Interact clubs, this is from age 12 to 18 years old, and it can be in Dole Intermediate is where the newest Interact club is going to be coming from, and that's Lisa and Aries forming that at Dole Intermediate School or Middle School. But it's age 12 to 18, so middle school or high school. Okay. So the first one was chartered November 5th, 1962, and right now 20,000 clubs in 159 countries. Awesome, yeah. So estimated 468,000 interactors around the world.
Wow.
So did you know 80% of the world's countries have interact clubs? Yeah, wow. So what do we have in District 5000? We have 57 active clubs according to the report. We just need to confirm that these are all active and ongoing. So we'll need people to register their clubs or have the clubs, the Interact Club advisor register their club on the website. Okay. Hey, did you know that Interact clubs can be community-based as well? So, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, on the Big Island, they had this Junior Achievement Company program, and they met at night, and they had room for more people than they had spots for, and so a community interact club would have been good to get these students engaged in a meaningful experience with other students. Okay, so keep that in mind. Can be community as well. Okay, so to update your information, you go to, that's the address, to find this form. It's an online form. It used to be paper, but now online. So the Interact Club advisor's name should go in there, and it could be the Interact Sponsors Club, the Rotary Club, that fills out this form and submits it. Okay, so if you could please do that if you haven't, and then we can confirm what clubs are really active and which we can pick up on. Because there are clubs that are looking for schools that don't have Interact or are not active Interact and would like to pick them up. Okay, so tips on Interact. There is an Interact guide for club sponsors and advisors. It has a lot of good information, good suggestions, ideas in there. Okay, the Rotary causes is something that we may want to have a Interact and Rotaract club meeting about and talk about the Rotary causes. There's a Global Youth Day for Youth Service America, Interact Week, and Interact Video Contest. We've got some really good videographers, people who can help the students learn how to take good videos. The Honolulu Club has a peace contest where they help the high school students do videos. So that's an idea that you might want to take up. Jeff, you're really good at picture taking. Helping the students learn how to take a good picture and a good video, how to come up with a story is a good learning thing, and they can develop their stories, which is meaningful for them. So you were asking, what are the 6 areas of focus for Rotary? Okay, these are the 6 focuses. Promoting peace, fighting disease, clean water, sanitation, hygiene, saving mothers, children, supporting education, and growing local economies. And you guys already knew that, right? But that's a reminder of what those 6 areas are. So when you look for grants, when you look for good, meaningful projects, these are good topics to look into. It really broadens their horizon, and they can find out what's going on in the world, learn about what the needs are of the communities. So for the Global Youth Service Day, this is a partner for Rotary International. And believe it or not, it is the largest youth service civic action event in the world. In Hawaii, I guess because we have a lot of projects going on already, it's really not on our radar because we have Rotarians at work that we partner with our interactors and Rotaractors. But if you find that there's a school that's interested in doing this for the Global Youth Service Day, April 17th through the 19th to 2020, maybe we can partner with them and call that our Rotarians at Work Day as well. Rotarians at Work Day, by the way, is the following week on the 25th. And that's when all of the Rotary clubs try and do a project either individually or in a multi-club event on a project that's visible, meaningful, suits the needs of the community. Okay, so this Global Youth Service Day is celebrated each year since 1988, and they're in 135 countries. Okay. Sorry, I need to find that person that we need to mute. Who should we mute? Okay, so let's go to World Interact Week. That's November 4th through the 10th. So that's coming up pretty soon. You might want to work with your Interact clubs and see if they want to do a project together or if they can participate in some project for World Interact Week. It's a really good opportunity to publicize and promote Interact at the schools and in the community. Okay, so let's see. We also have the Interact Video Contest. So we need that by December 1st this year. So it's the 10th annual, and there's a cash award for the best video. If we have time at the end, maybe I can show you one of the ones that won a prize for this contest. Okay, so they earned the recognition, and sorry, I'm going to mute everybody.
Naomi, did you mute yourself? I can't hear you.
If you're speaking, I can't hear. You muted yourself too.
I was taking a nap. Okay. Okay, so we were talking about, when we left, we were talking about the World Interact Week and getting involved with the World Interact Week. And there is a certificate for that as well. So you can pull up a World Interact a recognition certificate and give that to your Interact club for participating in the Interact Week. Okay, so that's November 4th through 10th. So that month we have the Rotary Gives Thanks Day after Thanksgiving. So might be a busy day, a busy month to do projects with interactors. There is the Interact Video Contest December 1st. So it's a good way for the students to get together and plan a video and come up with a best video, submit it, and they can get $1,000 if they win the prize for the international competition. Okay, so they can get that certificate of recognition for that as well. And by doing some of these activities, they can get some things checked off on the presidential Rotary citation for Interact clubs. So there is a hashtag for Instagram if they want to post some of their videos on social media. So here's some important dates. In August, we have Membership Month, and so the Rotary Interact clubs can also celebrate Membership Month by looking for new members, thinking of ways that they can grow their membership. The more hands they have, the more they can accomplish with their projects. October, we have the Alumni Reconnection Week. Not sure if we have something planned, but in Rotary International, they do have that week to recognize the alumni. What we could do for RILA or Interact is look for maybe a reunion and invite back the alumni to reconnect with the clubs. For Interact, the ones that have graduated can come back and talk about their experience in the universities, the college, or in their careers, talk about that transition and give some advice on what they may have done differently. And so it's a good connection for the interactors to see what's beyond Interact with people who have gone that path. Okay, so the World Interact Day, November 5th. Then there's the Rotary Day at the United Nations. United Nations will be featured at the the RI convention. There's a good partnership with the United Nations. December 1st is when the video for Interact is due. Then you have Rotaract Week, March, Global Service Day in April, Youth Service Month in May. And then the Rotary Citation is due August 15th. And I'll talk about that a little later. So for RILA, hey, Jeff, you want to talk about RILA?
Well, right now we're in the planning stages. We're scheduling the RILA camp this year, the 21st or 23rd of February. So we're just in the planning stages of getting curriculum going and our requirements going. And I will be sending out a PowerPoint slide with all the information the clubs need to know, as well as pictures from last year's camp, so they have an idea of what goes on at those camps. But it is a lot of fun, and I had a blast, and I'm sure anybody who wants to come out and participate, they're more than welcome to.
Okay. So for the Oahu clubs, they are being encouraged to contribute to the camp, yeah? So you'll get the
Yes.
information to everybody later on?
Yes, we'll send the information out so they can start getting a hold of schools or so they can start selecting students they want to attend. And the maximum this year is going to be 60 due to costs. We don't want to overburden the clubs.
Okay. So on Kauai, it's in October at KA. I hear that they have a blast, and they have a group that teaches leadership as their mission, and so they have leadership training there. On Maui, it's at Kianai with Zach and Mary Albitz. And then, hey, Gail, on Kilauea Military Camp, it's February 28th, 29th. And, yeah, it's a leap year, so you got the 29th.
And it's cold up there.
Hi, Gail.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. How's your camp going along?
Actually, I did retire from RILA last year, so I coordinated it for 11 years. So we have a brand new team. They're excellent, and it's never too cold at KMC for fun.
Get a grip.
Hey, so Homilani is on the ocean, and then
Yes.
Kilauea Military Camp is on the volcano.
Correct. I spent many weekends up there.
Yeah, it's very nice. Okay, so those are the dates. I need to put in your Oahu dates.
Yes.
So that's on the 21st, Jeff?
21st to 23rd, yeah. 21st to 23rd of February.
Okay.
I believe it's the week after President's Day weekend.
Okay, great. So we got the dates. And so if we can get more information with the registration forms onto the website, that would be great. Or you could just send it out to your island.
Excuse me, I just want to make a mention about the Hawaii Island.
Yes?
It's noted that Bev Hikus is the contact person, but we rotate hosting, and so it's now the Rotary Club of Hilo Bay, and the name is Tim Hansen. And
okay.
I can send you the contact number if you could update that for them.
Okay, we'll do it.
Thank you.
I got that from Randy, so he thought she was the contact. So I'll put Tim Hansen's name in there.
Yeah, and I'll get
Great.
you his contact info. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so another program we have is the Youth Exchange. Right now it's kind of inactive because there's a lot of risk involved with having a foreign student come and be in your home and, trying to monitor that person's whereabouts. So District 5000 is looking for a Youth Exchange chair if anybody is interested, but we just need to make sure that the chairs and all the people that are involved know what we need to do in order to safeguard that person's safety. So youth exchange can be short or long. So the short term could be just a few days to a couple of weeks. Long term is where they're here maybe a year, and they actually go to school here. And so you can see where it's going to be a lot of monitoring because they're living in your home, the host home, and going to school with or without the other kids in the household. Okay, so if you know somebody who wants to take this on, there is some training on internationally on the mainland. So we will take care of sending a person to training if someone is interested. Okay, so for right now, we do not have any exchange students exchange program. Now, some of the clubs have a backdoor, we call it a backdoor exchange, where you have it with your sister club or clubs that you know. So we need to make sure that people who are involved with young adults, young students, do go through the background check, that they do follow the rules of Rotary International and the district on safeguarding the student. So you need to look, if you're looking into participating with scholarship, HRYF scholarships, your own scholarship or any of these programs, anybody who is involved needs to have a background check. And background checks are good for 2 years.
And
Okay.
Naomi, this is Carol. Where do we get information on the background check? Because we do that back door exchange.
On the district website, you go to service on the top navigation bar, and then one of the services is youth. So click on the youth service link, and on that page, it's a link to the form and to make the payment. It's $15.50 for the background check. Right now, it's going to Natasha Claren until the youth protection officer gets that in place. But you can pay online, send the form to Natasha, and then she'll do the background check for you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so Rotary citation. Some people call it the presidential citation, but it's been the Rotary citation for a couple of years because it is for Rotaract, Interact, and Rotary clubs. So to get the citation, you check off some of these tasks that you do, and you can see that there's a column for Rotaract, Interact, and one for Rotary, and then there's extra credit for the presidential distinction. So take a look at what the tasks are and see if your clubs would like to get the citation and do some of these activities. Okay. Okay, so citation needs to be, the activities need to be done by actually June 30, but some of them take longer, so the absolute deadline is August 15th. Interact clubs, when they finish their activities, your sponsor club president or one of their officers will go into Rotary.org to club administration, and they will certify that the Interact club did the activities and they're qualifying for that certificate. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about youth protection. Okay, so youth protection covers all of the programs, not only youth exchange. So for HRYF, I think HRYF wants the clubs to be certified as well to know what the rules are on youth protection. So I sent everyone the guide. It's a lot of pages, but if you could go through the guide and see what is required, and if we follow the guidelines, then I think we could stay out of trouble. And for youth exchange or even for your activities, you want to make sure that we take into account everybody who's at that activity, including siblings or other kids that might be there that are participating. Okay, so Interact, Rotaract, Bryla, Youth Exchange scholarships all need to abide or comply with the guidelines. Okay, so the guide is on the website, the Rotary International website, and there is a statement for conducting youth programs that the youth exchange people need to fill out. We may institute that for the district clubs as well, so that the president will certify that the club, anybody who is involved with youth activities knows what the policies are. Okay, there are some lessons on the Learning Center that you can also take. Okay, so this is the affidavit form that you'll find on the district website. So you go to the district website, Our Service, Youth Service, pull up the form, and because it's got confidential information, you might want to email it without the confidential information to Natasha or whoever's doing the background checks, and then call them to add it on. Or if you give it to them in person, then that's fine. But it does ask some questions to help the background check person fill out that form. We use eCrim, and so eCrim is a national database that will search the backgrounds. Okay. Oh, sorry. You know, our Youth Protection Officer is Laurie Williams. So Laurie Williams is in the process of reviewing the procedures and will let us know what needs to be done, and she'll update that site page on the website. Okay. So scholarships. Bet you didn't know we had a whole bunch of different scholarships. You have the clubs individually does their own scholarships. But we have HRYF scholarships, we have Rotary scholarships. So the ones that the clubs do, they can give the secondary, undergraduate, graduate studies, but that is all funded by the Rotary Club. We have the foundation, Rotary Foundation scholarships for graduate, college graduates and professionals, and then we have the Peace Fellowships. So those are for master's or certificate programs. Okay, so you want to offer one, you go to the websites, find out more about it. The district has district grants, global grants, and of course, because they're grants from Rotary International, it needs to be in the six causes area where, fighting disease, and their masters, their specialties need to be in those causes. So it could be from 1 to 4 years. It could be an entire degree program. It could be funded by cash. If you're doing one as a global grant yourself from the club, you do need to match it. So minimum is $30,000. So that means the club needs to match $15,000. So you need to fundraise or get partners to participate with that scholarship. Okay, so we really need Rotary members to help with recruiting. So if you can get the word out to colleges, to your vocational contacts, to let them know about these scholarships, then we can get the word out that we have these available. For Peace scholarships, these are fully funded fellowships, 50 masters, 50 certificate studies that they give out. And so these are for the Peace Centers. They're going to go through the academic training and learn about the peace initiatives at these centers. So the qualifications, proficient in English or English as a secondary language, they have this commitment to international studies, leadership skills, and so when they fill out this application that goes to Rotary International, they need to put some color into these categories. So you collect the application, the nomination. It goes to our Peace Fellows chair, which is Lisa Foster. They will select one or two, or they may send in as many as qualified, and Rotary International will make the decision on who gets selected. So these are the universities that give out the master's program U.S. in North Carolina. There's one in Japan, England, Australia, Sweden, and that is for the master's program. This is peace initiatives, peace studying. And then there's a professional development certificate, and that is a 3-month program, which includes 3 weeks in the field, and that's in Thailand. And so right now, if you're looking at possible candidates, the 2021-22 applications will be available in February 2020, and they're due. The district has to submit it by July 1st. Okay, so that's where the district needs to endorse those people. And see, these are fully funded by Rotary International, whereas the global grant, you have a matching requirement. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, the other type of scholarship we have is through Hawaii Rotary Youth Foundation, HRYF. And so Jeff, the new president of HRYF, will talk about that program.
Okay, you guys can read slides as well as I can, but just the background, most of you may not know who Sully Sullivan is. He's the one that brought the first supermarket to the Hawaiian Islands, Foodland. I remember as a kid being blown away going into his first supermarket in Kailua. But the other thing that's unique is does not fall under the Rotary International Youth Programs. It's separate. It's unique to Hawaii. So it's only for our District 5000 that we select. Last year, where'd it go? Last year, we gave about $250,000 worth of scholarships out, two $10,000 and about 43 $5,000 per club. Since it started in 1976, we've given over $6 million out in scholarships, and about 86 students got a $10,000 scholarship. So right now, it's just over 2,000 scholarships that have been awarded in the 43 years that the Hawaii Rotary Youth Foundation has been in. One of our concerns is a lot of clubs that want to participate are required to submit $200 per year with a point of contact and a bunch of information. I believe they sent out the forms already, but we're still missing some from the clubs. Also, what we're trying to do is we're trying to target at least $40 per person per year per club. So that would definitely help us build up our funds so that we can keep it going without having to dip into our savings. But I do really want to thank all the clubs for participating. I know I have a lot of fun with the students and interviewing them. I know that your club members and those who are part of the HRYF chair for your clubs probably enjoyed also. And there are a lot of really good students out there. Just recently we did have our annual HRYF recognition luncheon, and a lot of those students just blew my mind away. I mean, they're our future. So I really, really enjoy this program, and I would like to encourage you and your clubs to participate as much as you can. So thank you very much.
Jeff, this is Carol Riley. I just have a question for you. Could you explain the difference? I understand the $200 per year from each club. How does that compare with $40 per person per year per club?
Yeah, that's in addition to the $200. Just to increase our funds for scholarship, so we don't draw down on our funds. So, like my club, we're encouraging everybody to contribute $40 per member, and just another way to add to our funds.
Well, I can sure understand why you need it. And I appreciate your explanation. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're welcome.
Thanks, Jeff. So on the screen now, I have the board members. So you can see that these are people from District 5000, but HRYF has its own board. It's a separate entity from the district, from Rotary.
Yeah, because right now we do have the executive board, and that the chairwoman is Kitty Wool, and all your board members and your trustees at large are Rotarians. So you have to. One of the requirements is you have to be a Rotarian to be on the board or on the trustees.
Okay. And if you ever need a speaker, you can call on one of these people. But in the club itself, you should have someone who can speak about HRYF and promote the program. So HRYF asks for 3 representatives from each club. Okay, so do you want to talk about the 3 different positions?
That's a good question. The only one I know is the HRYF chair. I mean, usually the interviewing panel is made up of anywhere from 3 to 5 Rotary members that actually it's a panel interview that we have every year. And, our club has 4, including myself, 5. So depending on how many people you want to be involved with the process, it's up to the clubs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so that would be the scholarship chair and the scholarship committee. So they receive the applications from the schools, they arrange for the interview process, and they select one to go to the semifinal area selection. So one of the things that they could do to increase, so if the scholarship chair feels that you only got 2 and the deadline is coming, reach out to the college counselors, get the word out to your members and the interactors and parents to submit more applications, because every club can give out a minimum of 5,000 if they're participating in this program. So now, remember, to participate, we need the $200, and the deadline was July 31st, and we're still missing a lot of clubs that have not turned in their 200. So in order to get the 5,000 for your club, you need to send that in. So please let your know that they need to send in the dues for HRYF. Okay, so there's a club coordinator, information coordinator. That's the one, that's the person that should make sure that they're educating the club members about HRYF, so they can maybe do a Rotary Minute to talk about what that program is. And then in right now, August, September, when we have the Foodland Give Aloha program, they want to try and encourage people to give, donate through Foodland, because Foodland is going to match a portion of the money that they get. So that $100 to Foodland might be maybe $120 to HRYF.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, the way it works is your members that participate in the program at Foodland will get 2 receipts. One that they can turn into their HRYF chair. And what happens is, what I do at my club is I collect them all, scan them, and then send them all into HRYF, so the club gets credit for the donations.
Mm-hmm. So the key, though, for everyone sending it in is to make sure that you put the name of the person and the club when you send it in, so that the office can make sure that you get credit for that donation. So what another club did, not everybody goes to Foodland or has a Makai card. He took donations from people that went to Foodland and did individual receipts, so that the person who gave $40 can get that receipt in their name. So that's an option for.
I'm sorry. This is totally different, but it does have to do with the submissions and selecting students. One year, a club in Kailua wasn't able to sponsor a student, so they requested that our club sponsor a student, and that club. So we did accept that student, and she was interviewed by our club, and she did get a club level award, but not the 5,000, because she was not selected as a top scholar. So that's another option you folks can have too, is you can, if you don't have enough, or if you can't afford it, maybe another club can support your student. That makes sense.
Yes. So it's a matter of watching the deadlines and seeing how many people. So sometimes clubs might have 15 applicants, and maybe the neighboring club only had 2, and so you can talk to each other, and the area chair might be able to help with that. Okay, so you have 3 people possibly. One is the club information coordinator that talks about HRYF, tries to get the donation. Then you have the scholarship chair who's going to get the applications and go through the interview process. And then you have the area selection representative who goes to the area judging where they select one from the area and it goes to headquarters, and those number 1 ranked person from the 9 or 10 areas, they are looked at for the 10,000 scholarship. Okay,
And,
questions about HRY?
Yeah, there are 2 $10,000 scholarships. One is the Joanna, which is for students that want to go to a 4-year college here, and then the Sully Sullivan 10,000 is for the students that want to go on to a mainland college or university, 4-year university or college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a really great program, and people like to participate. But we all need to remember that that money can only go out if we put in. So that's why we really need help for the area, the club information person to try and promote the program and get money in. Because if you put in $40 per capita, and so you're contributing $1,000 and you're giving away $5,000, it's a pretty good return on investment, isn't it? Okay, thank you. And next steps. What are our next steps? Okay, so we want to see that we're connecting with our students, that we're investing in their professional life, their future, because that's the future for all of us, for the world to continue, for Rotary to continue. So we're committed in what we do and our the growth of our participations. So what you could do is on your island, convene an all-island meeting with the club advisors, the school advisors, come together to one meeting, share ideas, have maybe some training sessions planned by the students, maybe every other month, rotate the school and talk about projects, about what they can do together, social events, networking. If they want to have a state convention themselves, that's what we need to start talking about, because it does take a long time to plan these. So we just need to be ahead of the curve. Collaborate, have the interactors talk to Rotaractors and vice versa, have Rotarians talk to Rotaractors about careers. We can do internships, shadowing, just talking story about different careers and what it's like in the after school, after all of that education piece where they're going into the workforce, what it's like to be working, 24 hours, 8 hours a day in a work week. And you can do joint projects. So let's think about different ways that we can connect. And, did you hear about this Catch a Wave program that is on Kauai, like the Shark Tank? What do you guys think of a competition where the interactive Rotaract clubs would compete for funds from the clubs? So, a lot of the clubs have foundations or they have reserves. And so if these Interact Rotaract clubs can plan a project, they pick the project, they plan it, they pitch it, and then we have a panel that would pick out ones that they like and fund it. Or if not funded by this panel, then they get funded by other sources, maybe. What do you think it would be like to encourage the Rotaract Interact clubs to really learn leadership skills or presentation skills, public speaking skills by doing this activity? If anybody is interested, please let me know, and let's try and see if we can get this off the ground. So the Catch a Wave on Kauai to do funding for entrepreneurs to start businesses. This is kind of like that, where we're going to fund the clubs to fund a project. So let me know if you're interested in doing that. Okay, so let's share some ideas from other people. So Malama Mentors, Aries, do you want to talk about what Malama Mentors is doing with an Interact Club?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Naomi. And thank you for allowing me to share Malama Mentor. So um, I'm very passionate about now this year. I'm, the chair of youth and services at our RC Club, Honolulu Metropolitan. And with that said, it really aligned to what I do for a living as the executive directors of Malama Mentors. Mala Mentors actually started in 2015, but before that, we started the adult mentoring elementary schools in 2003 after the Columbine shooting. But in 2015, what we found out are the mentors, adult mentors. It's very hard to recruit them. So what we did was we established a new program that is working very well, which is high school kids mentoring elementary kids. So they spend 1 hour a week in reading and doing homework together. And actually, the most important thing is encouragement and one-on-one encouragement. So whether, just listening and helping them out with, questions in life per se. And it helps both the elementary kids and the high school kids. What we found out there from our assessment, the high school kids are gaining self-esteem and confidence, and also just empowering them that they're doing, they're making a difference in someone's life. So recently, I myself and Lisa Harding put a joint project together. It's called the Youth Advancement Program, and Malama Mentors is a part of it. And we are starting this program at Dole Middle School and through Interact. And how Malama Mentors is a part of it is because we have Malama Mentors High School at Farrington, which is also, we have an Interact club there. And Dole Middle School is a feeder to Farrington. So we thought that Malama Mentors High School kids can do like an event together or some, social events or a community service where the high school kids are a part of mentoring the interactors at Dole Middle School, and also, kind of sharing what it is like going to high school. So, and to be a part of kind of the social things. And it's important in the middle school that the high school kids will be there to mentor the middle school kids in social activities. We found that that's very, very, what Malama Mentors is about is to build their social skills. And I feel like there's a lot of alignment with Rotary values because we are about connecting the world, like what our president said this morning, we're connecting the world, and Malama Mentors is really connecting the generation. We're connecting the generations from elementary to hopefully middle school with the partnership of Rotary, and also now the high schools. And the beauty of it, once they are graduating high schools, we have Rotaract. So I'm going to different high schools right now to kind of, mention about our Rotaract programs. And a lot of the Malama mentors are very interested in Rotaract because most of them are staying here at home to go to school. And that there's something that they share the values of, which is, being selfless and is others above self. So that's something that we share very in common together with Rotary. So thank you for sharing. We are in 10 high schools. You guys can check it out on Malama Mentors website, which is malamamentors.org. So yeah, we're looking forward to do our projects at the middle school of Dole Middle School with the Interact and the Farrington High School Interact. So looking forward to do that project together. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Ari. So if anyone is interested in Malama Mentors, check the website out. It's a good program. Okay, other people that want to share what they're doing with their clubs? Lisa?
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So what I'm doing with Hickam Pearl Harbor is when I became the youth service chair, I knew that education was going to be my platform. looking for opportunities to be able to follow our students from elementary school to middle school to high school with a transitionary youth advancement program. So a lot of it is very similar to how Interact is structured. So they are service-oriented groups, service-oriented clubs. All projects are actually student-led, but there's an educational aspect to it and a dual mentorship aspect to it. So one is a youth-to-youth mentorship, which is where Mama Mentors comes in. So areas on as a partner, which is fabulous. And the second aspect of the mentorship program is bringing in professional speakers as well. And so what we did was I formed a partnership with Dole Middle School. We came in, established our Interact Club there, measured out all of our service projects for the upcoming year. They've got soft dates. They're going to expand on those dates as well. Then we're talking to them to see what kind of professional speakerships and educational series are going to be best beneficial to not only the students but the parents as well, so that we're able to serve the entire community. And right now, I'm in the middle of gaining partnerships with other community groups outside of Rotary. One is actually a group that comes out of the University of Hawaii that focuses on students with disabilities and being able to offer more opportunities for those kids. And then also another partnership with, she's the president of her chapter. She represents a bunch of professional businesswomen, and she's the director of one of the veteran hospitals out there on the leeward side. Yeah, and it's funny because when you mentioned, Naomi, the group kind of like a summit or conference thing, I was just with Dole yesterday, and one of the things that they want to bring in this year, because they do have educational series for their parents because they have a very challenging demographic that they're dealing with. We talked about pulling in and creating a leadership summit so that we can bring a lot of our professional speakers in, do an all-day forum, have some refreshments, have things that are going to be appropriate for both kids and parents alike. It's really about just creating partnerships, building bridges, instilling community pride and ownership, and allowing leadership growth with these kids, letting them fail and letting them succeed, and empowering them for the right reasons.
Wow, thank you, Lisa. That's a really good idea to have a leadership summit. So what we've talked about today are speakers, joint projects, leadership training, leadership summit, partnerships. Richard is saying, Richard said, awesome, Aries, in the chat. But he's saying that group working together to develop projects is great. So that's something that we can try to plan out. And, Lisa's idea of planning out the year with their projects, I think that's what we really need to do, because sometimes working with the high schoolers is hard to plan something in advance. But if Rotarians know to plan, then, we can get things done. We can make a difference for these kids, the students, to learn about leadership, about the world, and what Rotary does. And the more hands we have on joint projects, the more successful, meaningful our projects can be. Okay,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, so with the service projects for our Interact Club at Dole Middle School, actually every project that we are doing has been identified as a need from the school. So we're not coming to them and telling them these are the projects that we can do. We're looking to them and saying, what do you need? And let us find an opportunity to be able to help you promote that. And so instead of, because I noticed that one of the things that some clubs have a difficulty with is sustainability and being able to have independent growth. So what Aries and I have done is we restructured our Interact Club so that all of the projects and the responsibility, what we're doing is we're teaching the kids to be able to do self-service, be able to do those things. And instead of, so what our clubs are doing is our Rotary groups and community groups, we're coming in as human work for them. So they are directing us. They are actually writing grants and requests and project design and program design, all these things to be able to show us what they need. So right now I'm working with Interact and Rotaract to be able to create a transitional program so that they, instead of hoping that our kids will join your clubs as they get older, I'm trying to bring those clubs into our club at Dole, so that way we can have this natural progression and we don't lose kids as they go on. Sorry.
Wow, thank you. But good advice, and always trying to find out what they need. What does the user need? What kind of projects they need is a good idea to hang your hat on, because we don't want to go in and say, hey, you guys need dictionaries when they don't really need dictionaries, right? Let's find out what they need and serve that need. Okay, so lots of comments. Richard said, awesome, Aries. I think I said that. Okay, so Carol says, love it, Aries. And Aries is saying, thank you. Carol said, Lisa, this is great, with exclamation points. So thank you, everyone. Oh, sorry. Was there any other sharing that you want to bring up? Anyone?
I'm super pumped for your think tank, Naomi. I'm like ready.
Okay, let's get a group together to get that off the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, Richard, Kwanzaa, any last comments?
Naomi, this is Aries. Just want to thank you, and I think I would love to get more of these, with other Interact or youth service, so we can kind of like gain, I guess, ideas. Is there any more webinar on youth services that's going to be scheduled, or is it just
We
one?
can, but let's plan to have that face-to-face with the club and school advisors, and then from there we can start planning out the sessions for the training sessions. So Gary Picaro has offered his place. Hawaii Baptist has offered their place. So let's just get the Oahu people, and every island can kind of coordinate that. So Kwanzaa, I think Gary Albitz wants to put one together. And so each island can coordinate their own area to have a face-to-face community conversation about all of the stakeholders putting their ideas together on what we can do together.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Carol. Are we good, everybody?
Yeah.
Good here.
Okay.
Thank you so much for putting this together.
Yeah, thank you,
You're welcome.
Naomi. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.